What's going on? Welcome to another edition of X-Feed. If this is the first time that you are tuning in, stay for a moment, see if you enjoy it. If not, that's cool. Get out of here. But we're going to try to make today entertaining as always, going over the Web3 space as a whole, starting today off with something that's not Web3 related, but maybe will get your mind thinking. Laura here highlighting, saw this and got curious to know what you all would select if you could only pick 5. So these are a bunch of TV shows. I'm going Fringe, The Office, The Walking Dead, Stranger Things, and Game of Thrones. Listen, that's a banger set of 5. Maybe pause the video for a second, see what ones you'd like out of that, but sheesh. Lil Baby owns an ape. Eminem owns an ape. Madonna owns an ape. Steph Curry owns an ape. Snoop Dogg owns an ape. I said Post Malone owns an ape. Justin Bieber owns an ape. And that is why I own an ape. Not really. We did it before him. Can you imagine being like, yo, it was this new wave and I got in before all these fancy celebrity type people? We have no idea if these people even own it. If you're not familiar, way back in the day, Moonpay, which we've not seen Moonpay at all. Where the hell's Moonpay? I heard that the guy who was leading it got a fat bag out of everything. But apparently Moonpay got these people their ape, and the infamous Justin Bieber one that was bought for like $500K, and it wasn't really necessarily one that was above a floor ape, but it spoke to him, and so the narratives were around that. Still kind of funny to think about the hype that was back in the day. Okay, moving to another hyped up collection. Is it propped? Is it real? Or is it fantasy? Something about Queen. Begin the song. Top 2 pudgy holder is basically long $5 million worth of penguins on 2 to 3 leverage. Holy sugar. Deposited 129 penguins into Bendao to borrow 1,200 ETH over the last couple days, and continues to max bid for more with the borrowed funds, plus immediately borrowing against them as their bids hit. They have historically done a pretty good job market making pengs, and we're already borrowing a ton via Blend before rates spiked, but definitely worth keeping an eye on. Yo, what's going on, Shay? We just started. Thanks for popping by. So, I mean, listen, we bring up all the time about the leverage within the NFT space. Is it sustainable? Is it not? But just something to note about when 5 million is out here on leverage. Going to movies, talking about it for a second. We have this evolution, right? And I posted a short today. I don't know if I'm going to post it on X, but on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And it was from a clip the other day where I was like, you know, we're going to have the option where right now we have OpenSea, Blur, yada, yada. But for imagine everything around us where, you know, it might not be a MasterCard, it might not be a debit card. You can pick the different payment rails that you have, and payment systems as a whole is changing. But when does movie systems change? We have the typical, you go to the movie theater, they have the popcorn, people complain about how expensive it is. But when do we have kind of that next evolution? I remember when Blu-ray came out and there was a lot of these collector's editions where you got like a little toy or piece from it that was a collectible, and that was cool, but we still haven't gotten beyond that. And I think the way that AI and blockchain is going to be, and also following Futureverse, when are we going to see that in Squid Game 2? Season 2? Maybe that is the time, or maybe not. Either way, I enjoyed the first season for it. The Art of Hype. Lambo Land talking. Okay, I think your name's Lambo Land, so we got to take this with a grain of salt. But why influencers have so much power? I haven't read this, but I wanted to give like a fresh reaction as we're going through it. But many projects in this space don't like how much power influencers have. But if they don't work with influencers, they are going to get left behind. Here's why. I mean, I think it depends on like who everybody likes certain people, everybody doesn't. I think one of the things that collections haven't done a good job of is highlighting something or somebody that's not the founder to be the face of the project in certain capacities. And then some of them that have done that, they've ended up leaving for other ones. So it's a little bit awkward, but I feel like for most of the collections, it's all based on like, oh, what's the founder doing? And then it's kind of like these influencers per se, or people that are doing content that are also kind of covering like the space as a whole or certain aspects of it. It is insanely hard to get attention in Web3. There are a million protocols, NFTs, and games all competing for the same set of eyeballs, but there's very few people in this space. But I mean, let's look at all the games. That's a friggin' lot. A good product isn't enough anymore. When BAYC launched in early 2021, there were only a handful of other PFP projects for people to choose from. I mean, It was basically nothing. But the market has changed. If you want to get attention now, you need influencers to talk about you or just your community. I think that there's something to be said about a mass cluster of people that are highlighting something. That is just the fact of this space, and there is a whole game happening behind the scenes to do that. Many projects are now launching ambassador programs, influencer campaigns, and referral codes, which is funny. We talk about these things, bada boom, bada bang. It's all over the timeline the next day. But projects should also be creative on how to get influencers to talk about them. Distribution should be part of the product design. The best is when influencers want to talk about your project naturally, and usually happens when you simply just create something worth talking about. Truly! And that's what we do. Anytime I see something, I think, hell yeah, that's good. We bring it up, right? It also helps if you incentivize user-generated content by engaging with tweets. Dude, I've made things for different collections. They've not retweeted, they've not commented, they've not done anything, and you're like, all right, listen, maybe the video wasn't the best, but at least I'm trying. You know what I mean? The reason why user-generated content is so important is because hype is mimetic. If you see a ton of other people are hyped up about something, then you're very likely to become hyped up about it too, which is like the entire friggin' space for the meme coins, for these new mints. It literally is what it is. And this guy's saying advice to projects: work with content creators long-term, treat content creators with respect, and build distribution into your product. So, I mean, again, the referral codes, this, that, and the other thing, how is this going to evolve? I'm not sure. But Coinbase saying asset added to the roadmap today, Ronin. So if we go and we type in Ronin here, have we seen an influx of price since this announcement? Ooh. So it looks like we had a hell of a spike right there. We went from like $2.80 to $2 and like 85, 86, 87. Holy sheesh, couple cents up. So again, we looked at Binance the other day for how much of a market share they had, but Coinbase coming in here is saying that there is something going on with Ronin in them, increasing transparency for new asset listing on Coinbase. This blog was updated as of July 1. But for the roadmap here, transfers and trading, I'm just kind of checking here. So I guess they're just saying for native assets. Why have you decided to list these assets? I guess this is just saying that it's going to be coming soon, which is neat. But yeah, I guess Coinbase is trying to be more transparent with what they're going to list. But I guess Ronin is getting listed, which we talked about one of the recent X feeds about how Ronin's not on any major exchanges. So got him. Here, coming from Zagabon, the founder of Azuki, to run an NFT project, you simply have to be skilled at community building, brand, communication, product distribution, events, DeFi, social media, legal, design, e-commerce, marketing, manufacturing, customer service, team building, IP development, partnerships, gaming. Obviously, this one person doesn't exist. However, a project needs to excel on all fronts in order to succeed in this environment. So what do you do? I frequently get DMs from founders who have hit a wall. The community is unhappy and they feel like they're forced to work on something that they're not particularly good at. That's tough. The skill set that got them to this point may not align with what the project requires next. And that's why we're seeing all these collections getting acquired and why we're seeing some projects not really progress. We have the community funding saying, why isn't there more being done? Like, this is all super obvious, right? Like, when I'm saying this, you're probably like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm completely aware. But it is funny how long it's taken for some teams to kind of hit that point of like, this is my ceiling. I don't have all the answers, but I want to share what's working for me. When you find yourself stuck as a founder, you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses. How can you amplify your strengths and keep doing what you do best? And the critical part, hire the right people to cover your weaknesses, empower them to do what they do best. And this is definitely something that it feels a little odd when you see people make announcements if they're leaving certain teams or hires that are announced. And it's like, okay, is that the best fit? Is it something that you feel like is qualified? And just, it goes around really to kind of this and hiring the right people. If you can find somebody that's a talent acquisitioner, then they might be the alpha. This morning, you might have been messing around because of the Jupiter airdrop. working on Solana in general. Phantom was subject to a DDoS account. Your transactions, things that happened, probably didn't replicate what it actually was. Nothing was affected by that, but still Phantom putting out a notice saying there are attempts to overload our systems and some services may be temporarily interrupted. Your assets are all safe. Thanks for bearing with us while we work to resolve those issues. Nice. This is the fun piece of the day. We went from Valhalla to now this Momoguro. And there's a couple tweets here. So Momoguro announced a children's TV series yesterday. The title should be Rug Story. Every frickin' time, dude. Here's the whole Momoguro debacle in one post. The NFT project started with a lot of buzzwords and half-truths, award-winning studio, Disney-backed. This is why I always try to be like, yo, why are these collections highlighting who they've previously worked with that's on the team in terms of like Netflix, right? Or these other things of like backed by the certain brands. Like, okay, so you're trying to add like validity to it. Just show us the goods, baby. A game from a top gaming team was promised. Again, worked on Minecraft, Pokemon League, and League of Legends. GACW, and more. Holders were promised a global IP, which everybody says they're working on. Mint raised millions of USD, 8,888 NFTs sold at 0.22 ETH each. Floor price rose to 0.9. That's like a quick little 3x or plus. Sheesh. Upon hype, the team created. Team delayed the game again and again and again and again and again. When the pressure got too high, they released a game that hardly deserves the name. There's no real gameplay. Allegedly not even built by the award-winning in-house team, but a third-party studio that received around 100 ETH for it. Holy shit. Big promises were made in the Discord that they are working on a global IP with big partner pushes and with lots of YouTube and TikTok content. I've seen this from a lot of collections too, saying that they're going to do this and that. And I've connected with certain collections, nothing necessarily like of note, but like half the time they're like, yeah, we don't really have a budget or funding for it. So I mean, take that with a grain of salt. After nothing happens, holders get suspicious and ask for AMAs with the team behind Momoguro. Baobab, the award-winning studio, but only get excuses. Team is missing in action and people start to distance themselves directly or indirectly from Momoguro. The team is too incompetent or too lazy to extend the Discord invite domain, causing new holders to join a scam Discord and have their assets drained. That's always just wow. During all this, Momoguro's price falls drops to 0.01. Again, it was at 0.9, making it one of the worst performing mints of 2023, minus 96% from mint and minus 99% from all-time high. The Momoguro X account is a ghost town outside of a bi-weekly meaningless post, mostly consisting of meaningless text and an odd picture. No sight of the global IP push that was promised. All of this gives the impression of a classic soft rug, where just the minimum is done and be at least halfway protected against possible lawsuits. Yesterday's announcement of a children's TV series should probably also be seen in this light. So I guess this is why it's all over the news, similar to how Valhalla announced, hey, we're doing a keyboard. These guys say we're doing a children's TV show, and people are like, what have you done to make us think that's going to happen? The announcement actually says the following, I kid you not, the franchise has already captured the hearts of a global audience. Well, maybe, but certainly not the hearts of the Web3 community. And then they got two screenshots here that are highlighting the peak of Momoguro and now what it's at 0.018. Wow. This space always ceases to amaze me. There's more things here. That thread really covered it a lot, but Grail.eth, as we highlighted, was fighting some other things, and now just, whales are buying into every collection, and then we're seeing this, hey, wait, hold on, what the hell is happening to this one or that one? I am surprised well-regarded brands like Roblox would allow scammers like this to build children's experiences on their platform. It brings shame to well-regarded brands. I don't know where the Roblox aspect was for this, unless this is on their, this is something that's kind of different here, but I guess this Bao Studios here is what launched Mamaguro. And the official thing here, we're excited to announce we've teamed up with 9 Story Media, the kids and family content powerhouse, to co-produce and launch a new television series for Mamaguro. The success of our line of Mamaguro Roblox games, okay, there we go, which garnered worldwide fandom with over 21 million visits and an 87% positivity score, have attracted demand for a television series for children 8 to 12 years old. So again, the question goes back for these Web 2 companies that are successful coming into Web3, having a launch that gets a hell of a lot of royalties. They already have a sustainable business model, and are they actually going to have anything happening within the Web3 and what they're working on? Maybe not. If we're going to call out Mamaguro for being a bad actor, all well and good, but let's also have the same balls to apply that same yardstick to existing gaming projects that have shown little to no gaming footage. And this is a huge thing. Everybody's talking about Web3 gaming. They're trying to have this hype. Everybody's working on these narratives, and it's just like, okay, when, what, why, and how. Now, something that I think could be amazing, and Pudgy Penguins have done a great job of it, is when you type in a GIF, right? Like, let's just say you're replying to somebody and you are waiting, right? Like we type in waiting because somebody's not responding to your DM and you're pissed off about it. And then you can find like a Pudgy Penguin that's kind of doing this thing of like tapping its wrist or something, right? Like I feel Pudgy's have done a good job of this. And so I saw this on my timeline where somebody's taken like a Bored Ape and they've recreated this like famous TikTok meme, which, you know, you might have seen just like the singular meme of the face or whatever, but either way, I think this is where things could get really cool, but nobody does this besides Pudgies that I've seen. If you have a collection out there, if you have these 2D arts, if you're able to do something where it's not even the full animation, but you just create a meme or redo it with that IP that you're working on, I feel like that'd go over pretty well in most situations, and I just don't know why it's not done more. Mattyverse, crypto is one big narrative prediction play. Truly, gaming is going to be huge. BTC is digital SOV. Giraffe Coin is the next Bonks. Blank, 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 blank is the next Sol. Mars Coin is the Ubisoft of Polkadot. Whether projects come to fruition doesn't matter. Price action follows the momentum on the belief of the above. Until traditional investors come to the realization, this space will mostly feel enigmatic. I don't know how you say that word, but it's chalked. Either way, I generally agree with this, and that's why we keep talking about the different narratives that we see all the time. And Maddie with an additional post here saying just crypto is becoming increasingly complex to onboard newbies. Which chain, which wallet, which DEX, which security measures. And this goes back to the aspect of, okay, somebody's going to come up with the idea or the way to actually properly implement this in a way that makes sense for this mass adoption. Mass adoption is a buzzword, but absolutely needs to be figured out because of all these problems with it. If you haven't ever tried to onboard somebody, or if you have, you'll know the limitations, the awkwardness that goes with it. And it's just definitely something that needs to, change. But I think the other problem with this is that it's still within that niche, right? Where most people are just paying attention. What's the price? What's going on with this? Okay. Or is this something that we're going to be able to farm and make a profit from? 99% of the time, it's not, hey, I actually want this collectible piece or this NFT or this access for something. It's all like based on the monetary value for it. And that's where things change, because for the mass adoption, you're not going to have, I mean, you might have these kind of one-of-one aspects, but it's going to be a lot more of the mass printing, which goes back to the point that I've made before about Top Shot and how that would be probably the closest thing to a mainstream NFT type launch that we'd see currently. Now, Ledger announcing a partnership with PayPal after they said they were going to shock the world and then laid off like half their staff, and saying the next chapter of the Ledger quest starts soon. Ledger does partner with pretty much everybody, and people already commenting on here saying, hey, we bought our pre-order for the Stacks, which is one of the hardware wallets that Ledger is launching. But it's not been out. It's not been shipped. It's not been anything. Obviously, Ledger is somebody that does a lot of things within the space, one of the most popular hardware wallets that exist. But even they are slow at launching things, because that Stacks they announced got all the hype, and then bada boom, a whole lot of nothing. Eat Insanity, Mr. Chris here. So many new alpha communities spawning. Why so many when it's all the same people in each one? So we look at the new mints and we're like, okay, this is just an art collection. It says the same kind of narrative as almost all the other ones. What makes it different? Well, just the fact of the new hype, or potentially we have different alpha groups that are highlighting them. you don't think the collection's going to mint out, then suddenly it does. It starts moving. Then these groups are able to move. It's some that does exist behind the scene. Some are bigger than others, but it's just something to kind of be aware about, that people are going to be charging for these alpha groups, and how many of them actually have something, or how many of them are talking with each other and they're like, hey, we're going to highlight this collection. A couple of people buy in, it starts getting momentum, and everybody sees that momentum and then jumps in for it. So again, the space still kind of nascent in that respect. Security. I'd like to remind you about security. So Adam here, unfortunately, got drained for his other deeds and quotas. He was, I guess, excited for this Clusters XYZ launch. Clusters, universal name built by Delegate Dot and Layer Zero Labs. I don't know what that is. It's almost got 10,000 followers. But when you look on here, you can see the @ is T Magazine Japan, and the account's name is Clusters. So clearly it's completely different, but I guess they were in a rush. They were excited about something. They ended up getting drained. Please, please, please be careful about these things. And this is why I rarely do things, if at all, just because I rather just be safe than sorry, or don't do stuff on a wallet that you have other shit in, right? Relatively simple stuff, but of course, yeah, we still have these problems frequently. Okay, some wild stats on the Jupiter airdrop in the Solana ecosystem. I realized that I qualified for that Jupiter airdrop, and I didn't think I would. So note to anybody out there, it seems that if you even use like the Phantom Wallet swap, or use Solana in any fashion, you might have triggered it. So be sure to go to like the Jupiter exchange, make sure it's the right link, and it will pop up everywhere, like how much you can get. And I think even within the Phantom wallet itself, it'll show. So I had a little bit in there, but just wanted to highlight that for anybody that thought they weren't having it, because I never used it directly, but I did through a different way. But some wild stats here. 459,000 wallets have claimed 631 million tokens, though just 48% of eligible wallets have claimed. So there is still a whopping amount. And of those wallets that claimed, 70% have sold. And Jupiter has seen 1.31 billion index volume, which is more than Uniswap combined. If you did a swap, it routed through Jupiter, you got credit. Yeah, Moshe. So or Bosch, sorry, not Moshe. I realized that because somebody hit me up and they're like, oh, like you get this? And I was like, I don't think so. And they sent me like the checker link, and I was like, all right, let me just do it for whatever. And I was like, oh, there's something there. Nice. Very nice. So there was some comments within this about saying like, oh, 70% sold. Like that's probably like inaccurate, yada, yada, yada. At the same time, there was all this FUD, man. Every day there is some crazy FUD where I don't know the full story except for the fact that like apparently the team was able to sell like 200 million worth of the token, but they were a part of another thing that launched, and then they wrote it in here, and then they were able to put enough like liquidity in this. And so there's a lot of FUD about that, where other people are saying, hey, there's still like an excessive amount of the drop still to come, somewhat like Blur. And so I actually, at the time when I was reading these things, I was like, okay, like I guess we can look at Blur because they were another collection that had a airdrop, and then obviously subsequently we've had like another drop. And so, oh my goodness. What the hell is this chart? So when we look here, I think I remember it coming out at like 60-ish, maybe 70 cents, a bit higher. I think it went over $1 and then came back down. So yeah, it went up to 1.23. Try to ignore this 5. I know it's kind of difficult to look at, but then we kind of scroll along here and it's been hovering all the way down to 0.16 area, right? And now it's flying back up here to 0.61. And it's interesting because we have the notion of, oh my God, more supply is coming. And is that going to be relevant? Right? Because for Blur, they did something where they were able to regain that attention by saying, hey, here's our Blur token, and now you can get Blast token for staking it. So they were able to create more of an incentive. I haven't seen anything particularly for Jupiter. Bosch, anybody else watching, if you have, feel free to let me know. But it sounds like there's some sites that you could stake it, but I don't know if there's anything like directly for the Jupiter token right now. But that's just a little bit of a comparison and update for you. The 2024 is airdrop season, and people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions, apparently, from it. And if you missed Jupe and Manta, don't worry. So This person made a list, and this person is Ash Crypto, made a list of different potential airdrops for different applications, protocols, yada yada. So I'm going to go through these extraordinarily quick. If you want, pause the video, go look these up on your own. But Phantom, how to be eligible, use the swap feature or convert to crypto. Scroll, ZKP, it's a security-focused scaling solution for Ethereum. You can be eligible by swapping ETH to WETH, find cheap NFTs, buy and sell, exchange tokens on any of these platforms. The Venom Foundation is a licensed and regulated Layer 1 blockchain in ADGM, supporting scalable Web3 applications for DeFi and global payments. Barachain, we highlighted that quickly the other day. It's a high-performance EVM-compatible blockchain built on proof of liquidity consensus. You can mint Honey tokens, interact with the Barachain DEX using testnet tokens, or trade Barachain perpetuals. But there's also a Galaxy campaign, which if you're in Futureverse, you know one of the ones they're doing with that. Layer 0 Labs, it's an interoperability protocol that connects blockchains, allowing developers to build seamless omni-chain applications, which we always keep saying. The future is multi-chain. So I think like when you're looking at these, I would say, okay, Phantom looks interesting for the airdrop, and then definitely for Layer 0 Labs. Alio is a privacy first Layer 1 blockchain that's zero knowledge by design. Fuel Network, permissionless and trustless Layer 2 protocol for Ethereum, and that is the list. So again, if you're wanting to check that out, it's Ash Crypto Real, or if you are just wanting to pause the video and go back and check it out. Bosh. Couple sites like MarginFi and Camino Finance allow you to stake to borrow against it. Basically, you can use it to farm their airdrops. Ooh. Okay, listen, appreciate you. Got the insights. One of the funny things that I've realized within my time of doing XFeed is that anytime I start bookmarking everything, because I feel like I don't like tweets as much, but I bookmark a ton, it repops them up my timeline the next day almost every time. Yesterday, we talked about Keep KPR, and today it's on my timeline again. And I guess they're launching this Ramen Wars. Grab your chopsticks and embark on a flavor-filled journey with renowned chef Esther Choi. What the hell does that mean? So, quick little peek at the website. Something is cooking in Prisma City. Solve the mystery and assist Chef Esther in launching the new Boon Ramen HQ. Final ramen in 12 days. Can we continue as a guest? Apparently we can. Let's see the kind of goods they got for us. Nearly a century has passed since the protective dome powered by the Keep saved humanity from extinction. So immediately, are you guys like, yeah, all right, this looks kind of interesting, or definitely not? It's a question, right? It's all about that first impression. People have like 20 seconds. They're not freaking out of here. So we click on this. This pops up their, I guess, mini map. There's Esther. We need to gather as many different ingredients. Okay. The more ingredients you can gather, the more dishes we can serve. Okay, so this is like the cooking game. I've seen this on socials, maybe. Unless I'm thinking of something different. Okay, I want to skip these. Let me just click on stuff here. We click on the scare. An area of the Prisma City known for its bright lights and bustling streets. This is the commercial heart of the region and a hub to all the different areas in the city. So travel time is 1 minute and 40 seconds. The ingredient list is that, and we can send them. So this person is walking. And that's the game, I guess. I'm not going to go more into it, but I think, again, we're going to have rather like shorter experiences from these different games as they're trying to build out their great big world. All right, Maverick here. Not sure buying into more projects is a good thing. Okay, why? Been asked to get into Block, Materia, and dozens of others recently. All good projects, but diversification is for amateurs and often leads to wrecked town. Now, speaking from personal experience, I've done that thing where I've gone pretty heavy into like certain collections and it's not worked. I think that we are at a point where it is arguably safer to do that compared to then, because now we've been able to see, for the most part, over a year of progress from different teams, see who's doing stuff and see who's doing not. But yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, I get the idea of diversification, but again, early on, I minted like 24 Bored Apes. If I just would have held them, I would have had like 8 million. We would have been hanging out and doing these streams from like Hawaii or someplace, if you know what I mean. So yeah, technically, diversification is taught a lot, but maybe just all in it, baby. Sheesh. Did you see the Serum City repost from Yuga Games? BOIC and MAYC can claim a free pass. I did see that. I haven't claimed it or anything, though. Have you, Mr. Buffalo Space? So, Gala Games FUD. Oh my God, did we ever love FUD? So Vera Awesome has left Gala. Personally, without Vera, there is no Vox for me. There will be no more Chatter Vox going forward. In addition, I will be closing this Twitter account. So I need to bring up a photo, a little photograph, from Bitbender. Every day we bring up Gala Games for one thing or another. And here's the post regarding this, because it's an ordeal. The really important point is that what some of the team has been saying is not what is actually there. Voxverse, which is this big, expensive mint that Gala launched across with like BT and Gala has a horrible track record of just milking the shit out of people for their assets. Like it really egregious, to be honest. But anyway, so Voxverse was one of them. Voxverse is going to be a thing, but it isn't right now. Will Wright and Co. was ghosted for the last 6 months or so. I know this because I am part of the conversations to bring it back. The stuff that has been pushed out is mostly video, not actual code. This is a problem. We very much want to get away from the make promise, do stuff later mentality. Of course, this is after they've raised millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that has been part of things for a long time in some compartmentalized teams. A team member told me recently that if the community was upset, in quotes, make them a promise. It is the Vox way. This doesn't fly for us. We are committed to this 100%, but it requires a reboot. I don't know, but man, Gala Games, all the out. All the out, bro. Pickle. Hey, what's going on, Pickle? How you doing? You still have your node? Yes, I do. I have no idea if I've broken even. I think back when they were selling. So for anybody that doesn't know, basically Gala nodes are this thing where you can buy with Gala token, but the more nodes that were bought, the price, right, went up over time. It was like a bonding curve type deal. And so at a point, even right now, they might be upwards of like $100,000. But at the same time, there was a whole bunch of people that were a part of the founding Gala team that were running their own nodes. One of the co-founders sued the other one. All of these things ended up getting taken offline or some like stupid thing. And so the rewards that we had initially went from like, it was, I think like 200 to 300 Gala a day, which didn't even cost like the virtual servers that you had to run for it. Cause that's like about like $25 a month. It like didn't even do that. But now you're getting about like $11 a day, but it might be even less because Gala is taking a little bit of a hit. But when they removed those nodes, it went from like the 200 range to just brother, upwards of like 700 plus. And I was like, sheesh, now we are printing. But I think I spent like 4 ETH on mine on the early days, which, I mean, sheesh. That's when ETH was way higher, but also shows the craziness that was Top Shot. Man, you know what's weird? If you think about Top Shot, all the people that did content for Top Shot, like, just don't do it anymore. I mean, there's like maybe one, but everybody else doesn't really talk about Top Shot anymore. It's all just like covering the space as a whole. It's freaking wild to me. But anyway, let's get back to things here. 6 Web3 trends defining 2024. We're like a month in and we're defining trends. Is this BS or could this be alpha? We'll find out. Layer 2 solutions. Key players Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, Layer 0, and ZK Sync. Reason why this is extra important, if you missed yesterday's show, ApeCoin is launching an Ape chain, I guess, but they're doing it on a Layer 2. They're currently voting between Optimism, Arbitrum, Polygon, and ZK Sync, I believe, are the 4. So if you happen to have ApeCoin, you're able to go vote on that. But agree, we have seen Base get brought up more and more. So yeah, generally agree with this first point. But 2023 and 22 challenges: high gas fees, congested networks. True. Solutions: Layer 2s make Ethereum transactions accessible. Okay. Multi-chain ecosystems: explosive growth from Solana NFTs and coins, Bitcoin ordinals, and AVAX. Yes, and almost, well, ordinals is NFTs, AVAX, maybe because Dwight Howard launched a rug on it, Solana NFTs and shitcoins. I feel like Solana NFTs have not been doing that great. Like, maybe I'm wrong with this, and we'll get to another one here in a section, them launching on another chain. It's ridiculous what these collections are doing, but we'll get into that in a second here. But yeah, okay. Solana surges, strong DeFi protocols, Jupiter Radium, Mad Labs NFTs gaining traction. We looked at the Mad Labs site. I still don't get what the hell the collection even is. Is this why Ape was ripping today? So the vote started yesterday, but it very well could have been because of that, because I don't think there was another announcement. Web3 gaming market potential, 4.6 billion in 2022 to 65.7 billion by 2027. Listen, I'm not great at math, but how many X's is that from 4.6 to 6.5? Sheesh. Project Spotlight, Pixel Vault Wolf game, Parallel, M Prime. So I don't get why Wolf game is highlighted as much right now. Obviously, early days has had all the hype. Battle Plan came out and still see that all over my timeline, but I've not seen anything for Wolf game, to be honest. So a little surprise there. But rapid infrastructure growth for immutable ZK EVM blockchain for gaming and the XI L3 on Arbitrum. True, that has been brought up. Authenticated media. All I can think of off the top of my head is like X fee or like X and their community notes. So digital dilemma, AI misinformation, deepfakes challenge content authenticity. Blockchain solution verifies credibility, offers tamper-proof digital content history, which we did highlight. Apparently Fox News has been using blockchain Polygon, I believe, to verify some sources and have something on chain, which is kind of neat. It's not really made much news beyond that. And again, even within Web3, I feel like we don't have anything else that is in front and center right now. Real world assets is talked about a lot. All I've seen is Courtyard and their Pokemon tokens, but I think a lot more is coming. High value assets, tokenization for shared ownership, provenance and simplify transactions, art, watches, yachts, real estate. Yo, Bored Ape Yacht Club, anybody? SocialFi and points. This was kind of a wave. Feel like it's died off heavily. New era, digital interactions intertwined with financial elements on blockchain. Earning crypto rewards for content creation, curation, and networking. You know, at some point, I'm going to get out there and try to go for some of these bounties for some of this content stuff because I'm seeing the prices going up a little bit. You know, it's incentivized. You know, you got to get Schiller to work here. I'm thinking, oh, maybe, bro, maybe. But all right, not a bad piece here from NFT now. Not a bad piece. Okay. Highlighted about Solana NFTs a moment ago. We've highlighted about how every other collection is launching different things on different chains, where we had Forgotten Runes Wizards. They did the Bitcoin Ordinals thing with the shadow hats. We had, I'm forgetting what the other one was. Oh, the Mutant Hounds yesterday. We highlighted how they're going on Bitcoin Ordinals now, but otherwise they're an Ethereum project. And OK Bears, one of the Solana projects, announces that each bear can unlock an artifact / allow list for OK dogs on ETH. When is there anything that's going to be like cool, relevant, bigger than just like launching more collections that's a companion piece? I mean, early days, that was the thing, right? I was all about it. I'm like, okay, we're expanding. We're getting new people in the ecosystem. It's cheaper aspects. Awesome. But I highlighted in a stream before, I think it's on one of my YouTube shorts, where OK Bears is starting to do some things within like Fortnite. And I think they're trying to build in Roblox, where there's these experiences. But again, are these great games? Do they have the IP? Do they have the player base? Like, what's the point of this? So artifacts can be obtained by 1, unlocking a bear with 300 tickets acquired by maintaining streaks, and then holding decimals and unlocking grails, and 2, grabbing unlocked bear on secondary. So I guess OK Bears has a staking mechanism. I don't know. I really don't want to just FUD the shit out of everything all the time. But what's the point of launching another collection here? And look at this guy. He's on a ski hill, just absolutely crashes, takes out the ski patrol that's waiting there too. Man, these viral videos. If you ever remember America's Funniest Homemade Videos, that TV series was absolutely incredible. Here's it from the start. Buddy goes, he's on the crazy terrain, no helmet, no nothing. Boom! Headache, maybe fractured everything down there, and he is out. My goodness. So what happened here? And what do you mean by here? So there's a transaction where there's a sale for 2 ETH, and then it gets listed for 1.5 immediately, and then a sale for 1.5 immediately. So why the hell did this person take a 0.5 loss immediately? So what happened here is that Bullishbeck listed this Quirky's NFT for 1.5 on OpenSea a while ago, and then sold it. Bullishbeck then tried to rebuy it again for 2 ETH today. So why was this an issue? Well, because the NFT came back to the wallet that created the 1.5 ETH initial listing. It reactivated that OpenSea listing again, even though this was significantly below the floor price at this moment. The same happened to many Bored Apes months ago when they lost their apes for pennies. And this was a huge issue. From serums to apes, people were moving it around. Everybody started figuring out Revoke Cash on a speed run there. And so OpenSea still has not fixed this issue completely. So be careful with the duration of a listing you create. So just note anybody that has valuable collections that you've maybe transferred from a wallet or are intending to buy back. Just be careful. OpenSea might screw you over. Dingaling here, I guess his fudding the other day worked. Glad that the sacrifice was worth it in the end. If this is what it takes to keep projects honest, I'll happily do it every time. Take care of your holders and community, and they will have your back forever. So if you don't know, AOF First basically launched this NFT. All their hype was about there's going to be a token, and then it was announced that the NFT holders get like a 1% allocation of the entire token. Holy shit. So everybody freaks out. Dingaling makes this big post about this is awful, bada. And here's the announcement from AOF First from that. New token airdrop plan. We will now allocate 40 million tokens or 4% of total supply from the community event pool for our NFT holders. We are honoring the original ratios of 1x for common, 2x for rare, 5x for epic, and 10x for legendary. So there we go. And the tokens will vest according to the community event with a 10% unlock at TGE, followed by a 3-month cliff and then 5% monthly thereafter. So I forgot to mention there was also a 20-month vesting period where I guess for here they've limited it down to 3, but also like 4x the supply that's given out. It's great. Dingling the hero no one asked for. Truly. But still, wild that that shit even happened. So the first ever CryptoPunk 721 loan using the new Yuga Labs officially endorsed wrapper CryptoPunk 7562 was collateralized at 40 ETH for 1 year. Holy sugar. So for Arcade, let's look at this real quick. Peer-to-peer loan protocol for NFTs. Total loan volume, 177 million. So, unique collateral and assets, PFP collections, major PFP collections, including Grail assets and rare trade NFTs. That sounds cringy when you say it, but hell yeah, bro. Art, rare works from renowned artists and generative art, real world assets, tokenized physical assets, luxury goods, intellectual property and memberships, and then gaming, collectibles, and in-game blockchain assets. So, if we click on this and just look this up real quickly here. Principal at 1 ETH for a little pudgy with a 24% APR. I've never really messed around with any of these things, to be honest, but apparently there's 549 active loans with 15 million debt. So when we talk about the leverage trading and whatnot, there's a lot of different sites that use this, from Bend out to Blur or Blend on Blur to Arcade. And, you know, I might try to find a little bit more statistics on how this is, because I know like Punk 9059 highlights some of the loans and things that are outstanding. But I feel like that's something that people are going to care about a lot more as we're seeing more collections going up, saying, hey, is this real, or is this somebody just getting hella levered long on something? And is that insider info, or are they just speculating that something big is going to happen? Linus Caldwell says, something almost nobody wants to talk about is momentum. I feel like we talk about that all the time. That's the when you maybe it's an unspoken thing where you look on the timeline, you're like, oh, that has momentum. But I feel like it's a conscious thought that's there, but maybe it's not verbally talked about. Founders, creators, and artists underestimate the critical role it plays in the long-term success of a project. I mean, okay, fair, but I feel like everybody believes that momentum needs to be there, because otherwise we got FUD City. Consider the superb Jupiter Exchange ill-timed Jupiter token launch coinciding with the FOMC meeting plus other market-influencing events. Just throwing it out there. Do we think that because the FOMC meeting happened and there was other kind of events maybe about earnings that came out, that it affected the hype and attention of the Jupiter airdrop? I don't think so. I mean, maybe for people that are like heavily involved in those other markets, but the only thing that I remember from the Jupiter stuff is people shilling it, right? And then all the news coming out about, oh, the team did this and it wasn't a, kind of fishy, right? With the whole 200 mil, the team did this, they could have done that. They weren't going to be able to get that from VCs, but they were able to do it through a token launch and yada, yada, yada. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see this as a thing that can be worded as that. Sounds like an excuse. Pickle, kind of agree. But again, nothing against Linus there. I just thought, hell, it's an interesting way of wording maybe the lack of hype from the Jupiter airdrop and it not going up in price. But as we mentioned, I think yesterday, I don't know if I saved the tweet for it, but I feel like I mentioned it. iShowSpeed, who's a very popular streamer, especially amongst the youth, he got his X account hacked, and of course they were like, go buy the speed token, and it's another crypto thing. So he's out there saying, I will get this figured out, and whoever that person is, you're done. This was for sure an insider job, for sure was. I mean, yes, yeah, obviously. We all know the compromisation that happens within X. Originally, everybody blamed the aspect of Twitter ex-employees, but then it was like, oh, just these phone store employees are just giving out people's numbers and information. Easy peasy. Bosch, it hurt it slightly, but the LP being between 40 cents to 70 cents at the last second was the problem. Yeah, we saw that it kind of just hovered around the same price range. People saying that if like 100 million volume was done in the upwards direction, then it could have broken through. But I'm not super familiar with that. But a little bit more fun on your timeline for today, if there's not been enough. Pop Punk saying, hey, Blast, it's not very cash money of you to fork Optimism's code, add a typo, remove a function, and then change the license. I don't know. When you think of musicians, right? And you're like, okay, that song sounds something like we've heard before, or they're copying it. I mean, if you're all doing the exact same shit, it's all going to look the same, right? Now, with that said, obviously this was like a clear copy, but does this portray anything of, oh, Blast doesn't have the capabilities to do anything on their own, they need to copy other people? I don't really think so. However, when these things do come to light, it does have that transparency and that notion where people can be like, that fair. That's a little odd. But again, if something works, why the hell do it in a different way? Just friggin' copy it. Fred Kroger here. Wanted to go over this. We highlighted the Bitcoin ETF the other day. It's felt like it's really died down the news for it. But he's saying, simple checklist as to why the ETFs are better than self-custody for most people. Warning, this post will trigger true Bitcoiners. Okay, if you're a true Bitcoiner, how triggered do you get? Number one, safety. As much as you believe you think your key storage is safe, as the red square shows, 5 million BTC are estimated to be lost. Unless you are very, very careful and use trusted multi-sig platforms like Casa or Unchained, you could end up in this square. That's fair. Taxes, they are certain. They are certainty. ETFs are ultra tax efficient. They are easier on your accountant. Your Excel spreadsheet also will not hold up in an audit, as well as your Schwab tax form. ETFs are standardized. That's a good thing. Death, also a certainty. Passing on that portfolio to your family will be a lot easier with the ETFs than with your convoluted security setup. A friend of mine died with $1 billion of crypto. Nobody ever found it. What? That's crazy. Liquidity. Selling an ETF is extremely fast, seconds, and the spreads are razor thin. Moving your coins to Coinbase or other exchanges can take days for the funds to be available to trade, and this will only get worse if Elizabeth Warren has her way. On the reverse side, you won't be able to skip Dodge with your stash as easily or move your coins to your cousin Sergey in Kiev. And if you do, you get in the way of your divorce. It's going to be a hard keeping your stack from your ex-wife and husband. If you are Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, I suggest the Samari wallet, mixers, and Tor VPN at all times. Oh, this guy's helping you out. Hi, that's crazy, bro. For the rest, I suggest ITFBT BITB or ARCB. Damn, that's crazy. And there's a little infographic there. It says individuals under this. Let me just hide my face for a second. So individuals, 11.1 million. To be mined, 1.3 million. And lost is 5 million. So kind of crazy on that one. Have you checked out Elementara NFT on Solana? It's currently broke, but people are still aping into it. Let's see if we can figure this out, because we got an extra moment here. Appreciate you coming by, Quiz. Let's see what is Is that Elementara NFT? Do they even have a Twitter page, or was that? Oh, maybe that was it. Oh, that's the co-founder here. All right, it's got 8,000 followers. A city built on the Solana blockchain combined elements to create inventions for rewards, stake NFTs, earn elemental token, invent new elements, and make history. Okay, we're going to do the quick 60-second check here. Quiz, I'm ready to FUD the hell out of your bags, but we'll see if we got the goods. Elementally is a city builder. There's rewards. Mint is January 23rd. Oh, it's the rabbits. Yo, okay, so I have seen these rabbits. I didn't realize what collection they belong to, but it's apparently this. Personally, I prefer the fluffies, right? We're all over that, but respect another rabbit just the same. Become a founder of Elementara and own a piece of history by participating in a rabbit PFP mint. Okay, when they're saying be a part of history, I mean, is that not a little bit of hyperbolic speaking? Just a smidge. Introducing Elemental Ellie token, the energy that fuels your incentive pursuits. Stake your Elemental or community NFTs to harvest this precious resource and gather the basic elements for your next masterpiece. Gameplay, combine elements, create new element. You get a chest reward, a unique inventor NFT, or get a prize in Solana token. Okay. Looks kind of interesting. I don't know if there's anything that's necessarily breaking this away from anything else, unless this isn't on Solana right now. Because I thought there was like a honey game or play honey or some shit that looks kind of similar to this. But still, if we check out the gameplay right quick, that tab just shows this. Okay. We took a little quick look. It's okay. Listen, Quiz, I might need you to sell me on it a little bit more. I'm not gonna lie. But okay. Bitcoin here, we're looking at 43,000. Past 7 days, it's up 8%, but it doesn't feel overly bullish across my timelines. ETH is up 4% in the past week. We're sitting at 2,300 right now. Stablecoins doing what they do when Solana still just a tick under $100 at 97.91. And XRP, arguably the coin everybody's waiting for to see if it does anything within the cycle, because it seems like almost everything has moved. But for the past year, XRP at one point went up to 70 cents for like a day, and then it's come back down and flatlined. That is going to be it for this edition of XFeed. As I always say, if you can let one friend know about this, hit that share button, send it to him and be like, you don't know who this guy is, or maybe you do, because he's the shiller. But you might like it because I appreciate you guys helping support this stuff. I am going to be back tomorrow as always. Today, I believe, is, I was going to say Wednesday, but in fact, it is Thursday. So I'm glad that I didn't start with that. But again, that's going to be it for me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hit that like button. We'll see you soon. Peace.